You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sarah, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer. Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about how counselors and supervisors promote themselves. This week, we read The Dating Shopping List Trap in Psychology Today 2026. Heather, so we are comparing how counselors and supervisors promote themselves to online dating.
Right.
In all of your dating experience, did you ever do any online or any?
Zero online dating.
Before there were apps, you could do that a little bit through personal ads. In print.
Okay.
But that wasn't nearly as popular because it's not easy.
Right. It isn't simple.
Mm-hmm. But now,
right.
Super easy. And so not having had personal experience, do you think knowing how that goes through clients, like hearing clients' description, really changes how people date?
Right. It changes so many dynamics.
Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of comparing that to promoting yourself, that in the same way that promoting yourself, 30 years ago or 20 years ago as a counselor would have been really different compared to all the things that we might do now to promote ourselves. So what are some things that counselors do to promote themselves?
I think a lot of platforms have I won't even call them web pages, but little mini bios up.
How about even a website?
Right. A website. Yeah, that's true too.
Before, right. Yeah. So any kind of website, what you put on the website, which is our second point a little bit. So website, what about, a lot of the services that counselors use to get business is promotion, right? The companies that, what are some examples? I can only think of one right now. I hate to give just one example.
Well, I'm sure if you give one, I can probably.
Headway, Alma.
There you go.
Are there others?
ThinkSpace, is anyone?
ThinkSpace, yeah. So things like that. So counselors contract with, collaborate with these companies, and then the company helps to promote them through a handful of different things.
What's interesting is I hadn't done online dating, but someone else, a colleague of mine had. Mm-hmm. And when we were setting up some of our things, she said these questions that are asked is like online dating questions because they're trying to get to know more about you, the human, not you, the counselor, to do the marketing piece of it.
Yep. So there's, let's say maybe we're both describing there's big picture, macro ways of promoting a website or being connected to one of these companies. And then there are micro ways of promoting yourself, like the individual bio page on your website.
Right.
Or answering all these get to know you personal questions for one of these companies. Can you think of other ways that counselors promote themselves?
I guess networking things. Are we going to talk about in our building, there's a couple of other places that are kind of adjacent to us, like a psychologist that's here and a psychiatrist that's here. So it's kind of just knowing that circle of people. But I don't know that that's I think it's just knowing more people, right? The more.
You and I, how long has it been now? I feel like it was around Thanksgiving or Christmas time. Mm-hmm. You and I provided a training to a group of counselors.
Oh yeah, November. Yeah, you're right.
And part of that, there were a handful of benefits to that, but part of that is also about promoting yourself.
Right.
You're talking about networking, and when I think of networking with other professionals, counselors do, I think there's still a good amount of this. They do an open house, and they invite other counselors to their office to see the office, meet the counselors.
Right.
I do occasionally networking lunches.
Sure.
Someone coordinates, 10 to 15 people lunch gets paid for by somebody, either a treatment facility or something like that.
Yep.
Can you think of other things that people do?
Kind of in the same realm of having kind of an open house style. I guess I'd call it a small practice that I know pretty well, is they do a holiday, they'll do like a holiday, they do it quarterly. So there's like a holiday party for something, and then there will be like a Halloween party, and then maybe like a,
So people come up with reasons
to merge.
host someone.
Right.
What a very small example, but any form of a business card.
Oh, sure.
What else? I mean, this is promoting, which also related to social media or technology. Counselors are in an awful lot of Facebook groups,
sure.
Instagram accounts, LinkedIn,
sure.
For the purpose of connecting with other people or getting their information out to other people. Okay, so lots of different ways you can do it. The first point in our article is that sometimes self-promoting can backfire. Can you think of any, maybe some really good bloopers that you've had or that some other counselor has had a blooper?
A couple of things that will happen to me on occasion is one of those platforms that I'm on you'll get a lot of requests kind of at one time. Maybe like 5 come in the same week.
Oh, when you say platform, you mean like one of the companies?
One of the companies that uses like
that you contract with that helps drive clients to you.
And when they do, sometimes it's like your name popped up. And so now you're, have all of these all at once. And when contacting them back, like forgetting because each of them have little blurbs like, oh, I'm interested in marriage therapy, or I'm interested in therapy for my 14-year-old. Like they all have little tiny, when they come through in groups like that, there's been so many times I've like mixed up like who I'm, what I mean? Like, I think that I'm about to meet with a couple for marriage counseling, and then it's like this like teenage kid, and I'm like, like just have to reset real quick.
When I first started in private practice, I don't think I had much of a game plan as far as how to promote myself.
Right.
But my location was good. I was in a suburban area, lots of schools, lots of daycares, lots of churches, so plenty of kids for me to and families for me to see. I don't know where I got this idea. It didn't work at all. I got cupcakes, business cards, and I think I made flyers. So so already I've spent some money.
Yeah.
And I took that to, cupcakes, cards, flyers, to every daycare
around.
I think I don't remember, it was like 5-mile radius or something. It was a lot of daycares. And
it's a lot of cupcakes.
that's exactly what happened is I spent a ton of money on cupcakes, and so when I would get there and say, oh, I brought this and I wanted to share it, and this is what I am and what I'm doing, that whoever was sitting at the front
is not the person you actually meet.
They're not ever going to give a counselor's phone number out to a family or a parent or something. They would say, oh, that's so great. We love that. Can you go put it in the break room? Well, so then I'd have it on the center of the break room, my pile of cute little stuff that I hope and I'm sure what everybody did was they went in and grabbed a cupcake when they had a second and never looked at
whatever else was there.
All that other stuff.
You're right.
And so it was a lot of effort and a lot of money and not a lot back.
Right.
I don't know. I felt like it backfired because I spent money, but I don't know that I got the wrong message out.
Right.
But just not anything in return.
Yeah, I think very early on I did something similar, but it was with postcards. And like picked an area that was nearby where I wanted to have my practice. And I don't think a single one of those postcards ever brought any traction at all. I mean, I think they were just like junk mail, like came in, went out.
Yeah. One time, maybe more of a blooper, maybe. I had someone who was coming into my practice, and so they were going to be on websites and business cards and all the different things that I use to provide information about my business. So again, spent money to make that happen.
Yeah.
The person that was coming in wrote their bio for the website, and so then I also paid to have the website updated. And really quickly, far too quickly, that person decided they didn't want to be in private practice.
Oh. This was like their first stab at it, and it did not. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So out all of the money that it took
to change the website,
do all those things, and then they don't care to do this anymore. They also, just as quickly after they were gone, contacted me again to say, can you hurry up and change the website because I no longer like what I wrote in my bio.
Oh, okay. My goodness.
So I feel like maybe a bigger blooper on their part that they misrepresented themselves.
Okay.
If you didn't really mean it,
right.
If that's not really who you are or the way you want to promote yourself, then maybe you shouldn't have ever had it on the website to begin with.
Right.
But now you are in a hurry to get it off. You're in kind of a panic, and I'm going to have to pay money again to have it taken off the website. So, it is off the website. It didn't happen in a big hurry.
Right. When I have that website altered, I'll definitely change that.
Yeah. So sometimes self-promoting can backfire. Do you think you've ever promoted yourself and gotten the wrong type of client?
I can't think directly about that necessarily gotten the wrong client, but I've gotten like referrals because maybe I saw one client that necessarily isn't the base that I see. And then they've told another person, I'm like, I don't want any more like this.
So you got a client that wasn't your usual or wasn't something that you feel, I don't know, would you?
I would say just my favorite. Prefer? Yeah, I don't prefer it. Yeah.
And then suddenly you've got a whole little flurry.
You're like, no, that's not what I wanted.
Second point is what you do is as important as what you say. So, some of the things we're talking about that you say could be actually the website.
Sure. Like what you're saying on the website.
Language. What you do is as important as your language.
Sure.
Language on a website, business card, things you actually say.
Things you actually say to people.
So what is it? What are those things that you're doing that are as important as your language?
I think these are more like personal interactions, like eye contact or like addressing a kid in an appropriate way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like reading the room almost, like knowing that skill set when you're in person at different, whether it's networking or in your waiting room.
Do you think, tell me if this is the same idea. If what the clientele that you're looking for is whatever age range they are, whatever income.
Okay.
Like whatever range of income you think that you're shooting for. If your office space or you do not match that when you're at work.
That could be a big problem.
For example, I'm thinking a long time ago going to lots of play therapy conferences and trainings and getting to see a lot of different trainers. One of them that I really liked, I think she's a very good play therapist. She always wears like a dress suit.
Okay.
Like a skirt.
Like blazer. A pencil skirt, blazer, like office. Like,
yes. Okay. Like very, maybe more like an attorney.
Okay. And she does play therapy?
And she's a play therapist.
Oh.
And that a lot of people felt like that didn't fit.
Right. I would agree.
But I think she's at a training. She's not.
So yeah, she's not playing. So maybe that's not what she wears every day.
Right.
Just what.
But I think in that case, the feedback or what people were saying about that was that it didn't match. It didn't. Right. I don't know. I think it fit the setting. But what if you see kids and everything in your room looks kind of breakable or expensive or like something a kid shouldn't touch.
That can be a definite problem. Those are good.
Can you think of other examples? Maybe like if you want to see adults and vice versa, your space looks like, I don't know, it came from a garage sale.
Right. And you're like, oh.
And you're wanting to attract clientele that are better off, maybe like well-to-do or adults or that they might think.
Right.
This looks like hand-me-downs from your mom's house.
Right. I worked for an agency one time and a lot of their stuff came from like garage sales and like hand-me-downs or whatever. And I remember just like in the space and like trying to make it was this tiny, tiny room. There was no window. It was an interior door. So it was like you come from the waiting room and come through yet another door and the doors were big and heavy, like really big and heavy doors. And I remember there was just enough room for like a love seat and like one other chair and like a lamp. And there was this like built-in desk that was in this nook, like in the corner.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was no one that was going to use that desk. Like that's not going to be usable. And actually the love seat that they had picked was so close to the desk, you couldn't actually get in there. And I remember just being in that space, and we had to trade off with who had that room. And every week I would bring something different into that space, because I just like try and make it like, here's a fake plant because a real plant won't grow in here. Like, here's this. Like, I was trying to make it fit what our clientele was. And it was just a joke when we, I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 counselors in there. And I was like, we just tried to work around it. Like, don't even include that.
What about, okay, now I'm thinking, what if your space looks like really crunchy?
Okay.
Do you think you have any clients that might walk into a space that's really like, that would go like, I'm not comfortable here because this feels like
a little too,
Well, I feel like I had a counselor friend a long time ago, and their entire office was pillows and cushions on the floor.
Oh, that's different.
But it felt comfy,
right?
And it looked nice. But I immediately thought, I think that there are some clients that might actually physically have a hard time
getting up and down. Yeah.
Right, getting on the floor and then getting back up. And that might instantly be a reason that they would be uncomfortable.
Right.
Like they would walk in and think,
oh, I don't want to do that.
I don't know how this is going to work for me.
Right. I can tell you something very strange about a place I visited, interviewed them to be my supervisor. Mm-hmm. And I went in, I probably told you this story before, but everywhere in this space was like indoors was hanging kites and wind chimes and like other things that would hang off windows and different things. And I
have never heard this story.
But I was like so overstimulated just from walking in the door. But there was lots of pillows on the floor, and there was like what are those big papasan chairs? You know, that kind of more furniture. And I just remember going, okay, well, this is different. And then after her and I talked, I was like, yeah, that's not like, it won't be a good fit.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it was just like seeing the space was like, no, I don't know. Okay, take a risk, you know.
Yeah. So we're communicating by what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. The physical space we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as much as some of the words that we're using, the language that we're using.
Right.
The last point in the article this week is that storytelling is actually the magic of promoting yourself.
Sure.
So how does that work? And what do you do for
I do something with my supervisor or supervisees or not every week, but often, like favorite client lately, and like tell me about them, and they're getting that connection with me. But some of those clients and their stories are going to stick, and you're going to remember those stories, and you'll alter them enough that they'll protect their, identity. Yeah. But knowing those stories and being able to use that to talk to another counselor. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a client that had, severe anxiety. It did look like ADHD. And this is what
Yeah. I was thinking storytelling, kind of like you were saying, Headway Alma, Think Space, asks questions about you as the clinician that help create a better picture of you. Mm-hmm. That's what I was kind of thinking. I'm talking about storytelling related to promoting yourself, that you're trying to give people in a convenient or short way an idea of you, of who you are.
Sure.
And that whatever headshot you might put online or things like that can give some, but not all. It doesn't really give the whole picture. This is, no one has said this to me in a while. I think maybe that's a good thing. That I used to have a headshot a picture of myself on my website, and every single person that came in to see me in person would say, "Oh, you don't look like your picture."
Oh, really?
Over and over and over. And every time I would think, is that a good or a bad thing?
Right.
I don't know what that means. But now I think it maybe has more to do with that in person, I'm more dynamic than my picture could possibly be.
Right, of course.
That when in spending time with me, you get a better feel.
You get the whole story.
Right. So how can we do that knowing that not everybody will get to walk in the door and spend an hour with you and talk to you and interact with you? How can we give people that in a condensed version?
I mean, I think the website's probably the number one nowadays that people are looking for. I feel like most times now we're found on those kind of things, but there was a time where someone would call me and they would talk things, and I would try to give them tidbits of information about who I was without necessarily disclosing too much. You know,
even a website bio, the last 2 sentences always includes He loves to hang out with his kids and wife at the beach.
Put some little thing in there that gives you're human.
Right. His dog Frankie goes for a walk with him every morning.
You might see him in the office. Yeah, something.
Yeah. That I think that's an attempt at that, at providing some storytelling that creates a bigger picture or more complete picture of someone.
Yeah, there's a agency nearby us that does they have the story of each of their individual people, but then they also tell the story of how the collective was created, like how like the two people that started it came together and where they knew each other. And it's just a cute little and this is what became, it's very sweet the way it's done. It's not over the top. It's just.
When you meet a potential new supervisee, how do you do that with them in a short amount of time? So, I mean, you meet with someone who maybe is going to begin receiving supervision from you, and they're trying to get to know you and you're trying to get to know them, and hopefully it's condensed. You don't want to take all day doing that. What are you providing to them that maybe gives them an idea of who you are?
I think I tell them what my week looks like. That I'm in the office, I probably see 20 to 25 clients a week. Here's the day that's best. If we have to reschedule, I have a day and it changes. Right now it's Mondays. If you need to reschedule supervision from the week before, we have to get it done on that Monday because that day is more open. But I try to give them a snapshot. So I am in the office these times, and then I go pick up my kids from school, and then I go do this, and then I come back. So I kind of give them an idea of who I am without necessarily detail oriented.
I think I ask them some of the same types of questions, but I think, and maybe I've gotten good responses from people that this has helped them or given them a better picture of me. Talk about what might kind of the style, I hesitate to say theory, but it is a theory, the style and theory that I use for counseling and supervision. And why. And talk to them about why. And I kind of tell them, which is a good example of me, that I'll say, I know this kind of sounds like nerding out on counselor stuff, but this is why I think it's good or important or why I'm excited about it. To help them. I think it already begins to show them a range of emotion within me. Because I started
like that.
Serious. We're talking about logistics of meeting, and then you're going to hear about the things that excite me or the things that I care about.
What's the latest book I've read? What's for fun, or maybe for work. But either way, I think once you give those little personal details, then it kind of adds to the story of you, who you're out there with.
Thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision. Heather and I would love to hear some examples of times where you attempted to promote yourself and maybe failed. We'd also love to hear ideas about future episodes. And today we'd like to give a little shout out to our YouTube listeners specifically. Heather and I were looking at some of our stats on YouTube, and we have a lot of male listeners on YouTube. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening to Supervision with a Vision.
You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.